and welcome to this week's video. I have made a few videos on why adjusting your values can help strengthen your painting, and I often use Photoshop to help me do this. Consequently, I've been asked by you good folk how I do this, so in today's video I'm going to show you some basic Photoshop adjustments that will help you manipulate the values in your photos so you can prepare them for painting. Ideally, you want to do this before you start painting. Trying to work out your values as you go along is extremely hard and not something I'd recommend because you'll find you may make a right hash of your painting. Let's get started. Levels. The first adjustment I would like to show you is a levels adjustment. Let's use this cat photo as our example. If I bring up the levels adjustment, you'll find it in Image, Adjustments, Levels. You'll see a graph with 3 sliders. That's your darkest value, your mid value, and your lightest value. The graph shows us we have very few light and mid values. They are really all bunched up here in the dark areas. If I adjust my light value slider, you'll see I can't push it too far before I blow all my whites. You need to be careful of this, but this light slider will lighten my photo. If I move the mid value slider, you can see how this adjusts my mid values, and my cat is much more readable against the background. But again, you need to be careful of moving this one too far because it will flatten out all my mid values. I don't need to move the dark one because our reference photo is already dark. I would use this one if I were trying to make a lighter image darker. Let me show you another photo. I'll bring up the levels adjustment panel. This time I have a photo where my values are sat in the middle. So if I push my left one in and my right one in, look at how it affects my photo. Straight away, that's a better photo for painting. To recap then, the levels adjustment is a good starting point, but it doesn't always work and can make some images look a bit odd. Try this one first, and if it doesn't work, try the next one. Brightness and contrast. This one is found in Images, Adjustments, Brightness. This is a straight lightener. I use this one if I need to brighten an image and the levels adjustment is skewing my values too much. It gives you a bit more of an even adjustment. I still have an issue with a lack of dark values in this photo, so I can use the contrast slider to do this. It's really the same sort of effect as the levels adjustment, but with less control. If I show you the same adjustment on my second photo, you'll see you can be quite brutal with the adjustment before it begins to blow your whites, and it won't affect your middle values as much. This one tends to preserve the value distribution in the photo a little better than a levels adjustment, so try them both. Shadows and highlights. The next adjustment I want to show you is the shadows and highlights. This can be found in Image, Adjustment, Shadows, Highlights. This one is good for lightening up really dark images, but be careful, it can really skew values, so use it with caution. The main slider you will want to use is the shadows. Notice how light it can pull those values. You also have the option of adjusting the midtones too with this slider. The shadows highlights adjustment only really works on dark photos or photos where you have an area that the values are just super dark overall. Think a black lab or maybe a black cat that has no definition in their fur. Look at what happened when I put this adjustment on my second photo. It lightens the whole photo with little definition in my light or darks. I can get some quite dramatic effects if I play about with the different sliders. You need to be careful with this one because you can soon distort an image so it becomes unreadable. Vibrance and Saturation. This one can be found in Image, Adjustment, Vibrance. You would use this one where you have a lack of colour in an image. I always start with this one first as it gives me a more natural feel. If this doesn't work, I'll try the saturation found just here. Notice though how this adjustment really distorts the colours in my image, so use this one with caution if you are intending to paint something more natural. Overpainting. Sometimes none of these adjustments are enough and the best option is just to paint over the image. I create a new layer, select a brush, turn my opacity down and then start to adjust the image according to what I want to do to it. You just have to play about with it until you achieve what you want. To wrap up then, adjusting your reference before you start painting can make a huge difference to how confident and successful you feel with your values. Photoshop gives you a range of tools from quick fixes to more subtle adjustments, and there's no single right answer. Experiment and see what works best for each image. The goal is simply to create a clearer, more readable reference so you can focus on the painting itself. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and check out my website sarahhallidayart.com, where you will find examples of my work and details of online classes that I run. Thank you for watching and see you for the next one.